I'm just thinking about the sex drive, or something like it anyway, libido energy. Because obviously we've all got libido, haven't we? We've all got a sex drive. We've all got not just specific lusts for sexual congress with the objects of our affection, but also more kind of generalised drive, which kind of falls within that compass, haven't we? You know what I mean? A lot of creative activity of any kind it feels to me at least, and other people have said this to me as well, feels driven at least partly by an equivalent to a kind of sex drive. You know, a desire to I don't know, just desire to, I'm speaking from a male perspective, so it might be slightly different for other people, on my perspective as well. So it feels slightly like a kind of thrusting, you know, pushing yourself into the world and out of the world, but also kind of receiving, you know what I mean? There's an aspect of the sex drive which is about receiving, isn't it? And opening oneself up and allowing oneself to be vulnerable because because the drive demands it. But that drive, and I think it's interesting, it is the word drive, and we sometimes say our drives motivate us. So it's all this kind of energy metaphor stuff, isn't it? Something that pushes you forward, like a drive shaft in an engine, or the drive belt in a steam engine, or the motivating force, the thing that makes you move, motivators, you know, it's that. It's like the fuel in an engine, you know, that libido, like some liquid, volatile liquid in the sump, which powers the whole engine and keeps it moving forward. I guess if it was a kind of Freudian thing, you might even say that it was sublimated, you know, because that's what they say, don't they, that certain kinds of desires are sublimated, which almost means that they're evaporated in that way that some chemicals sublimate. That they kind of vaporise upwards and expand, you know what I mean, and adhere to the walls of the world in a different kind of way, you know, sublimated energy. But at the same time, just to return to the libido, which I sometimes associate with what's that term? There's a Spanish term which Lorca uses to describe the energy of the bullfight and the fandango and Spanish dancing. What's it called? It'll come back to me. Anyway, it's this dark energy. It describes it as kind of dark, like thick diesel fuel or something like that. At the same time as it's that, at the same time as it's a drive, it also feels a little bit like a hindrance, almost as if you're having to drag this massive fuel tank around with you, at the same time as the fuel tank is powering you forward and giving you the energy to move forward. You're also aware that this massive fuel tank, like a massive pair of testicles behind you, full of diesel fuel, full of, still haven't got that Lorca word, fuck. Anyway, there's like this massive pair of fuel-filled testicles dragging out behind you, you know, so every step is really hard. So it's both the driving force and the impeding force, that weird libido thing. Because obviously you can't, you know, because sometimes it feels, I don't know if you get this as well, but sometimes I think, gee, I wish I didn't have a sex drive. Life would be so much easier if I wasn't distracted by and held back. You know, I could be a really spiritual, intellectual person if I didn't find myself looking at boobs or thinking about sex, or or other things attached to that. I'd be so much more of an advanced being, I sometimes think. I could progress so much faster. I could reach my ambitions, and I could hit the aspirations. And it feels like an ascent. You know, it would feel like that. Or I could just rise off. I wasn't held back by these massive diesel oil-filled testicles holding me down and holding me back. I could float up there. But at the same time, as I say, I'm aware that this is also the fuel. You know, so sometimes my testicles are the things that's dragging me along or providing the motive force. Obviously I'm using testicles slightly metaphorically. It's the drive that's important, the libido energy. The duende, that's a fucking word. Thank you, Lorca. Duende, which is this dark energy that sits low down in the bowels and fuels the passion of the dance and the passion of the bullfight. I think it's interesting, at the end of bullfights they used to cut the testicles off of the bull. I don't know if they still do or not. Throw them into the crowd. Here, testicles of bull. It's kind of symbolic rendering of that duende made literal flesh. Yeah. Look at that erection on that hill. Nothing phallic about that.